2014. We had another relatively good trading day. For the most part, got the direction right on markets, and some of our buy and sell areas were spot on. Some of them, market was stronger, frankly, than we thought it was going to be. So right here, looking at our F1 screen on the E-mini, everybody's favorite contract, we've got a higher high driven by a higher low, and we made new contract highs. So while the market can sell, this long-term P is still in effect, and until we get some follow-through selling, some sort of retracement where we make a lower new high, and then we start to sell again, this market is pointed up, and if you have to make a trade, you're going to make it from the long side. It's just the way that it is. What about fundamentals, Charles? Well, fundamentals don't really pay, aren't really in play. It's easy money. It's the spread between borrowing from the Fed and putting that money to work elsewhere, with the promise by the Fed that interest rates are going to stay low for a long period of time. And big money, 75% of the big money put into the market on a spread basis, so everything fits. Okay, we may have a new move out of the middle and L period, don't know, but we got ourselves a fairly strong P. And on the E-mini, there's no news to drive the trading tomorrow. We have the EIA inventory reports. We'll probably have some new news out of Russia, the Ukraine, on as both sides jockey to point the finger at other people. So the easiest trade to see is to sell failure to take out today's highs. So I'm selling failure to take out 80, 81, and then our number 2 sell will be 85 plus or minus. Doubt if we'll see that in the overnight session. On the buy side, the 75 area, so 75 plus or minus 1. Will be buy 1. Then our 72 area will be buy 2. Market's strong, it's pointed higher. I mean, there's no way to get around that. We still favor the buy side, although, like I said, the easiest trade to see is selling failure to take out 1980. Looking at the ZN, the knob spread once again widened. The knob spread has been very, very strong. We're at 13 plus. The long-term fundamental player in the financials is betting on economic slowdown or catastrophic surprises in the world. New shooting breaking out. And I mean, you know, at the end of last week, if you look at what is going on right now, I mean, we have turmoil on our southern border. I mean, we're actually, you can make a case being invaded. And about 25% of them are the kids, and the rest of them are teenagers, gang members, everything else. We're not getting the best and the brightest coming across this way. We're getting people with their hands out, or if they're criminals, people that won't add to our economic well-being. We have Israel and Gaza. Who knows how wide that can spread? I mean, you've got Jordan, you've got Syria, you've got Lebanon, all in close proximity to it. You've got ISIS in Syria and Iraq. You've got the Ukraine. You've got China and Vietnam. So you got Argentina 1 week away from a default. There's just all sorts of stuff going on right now, and that would be another compelling reason to be long gold and to be long U.S. Treasuries. Okay, lower high, lower low. We're still in a P longer term. It's still trying to trade higher. We definitely have a P on the F2 screen, so we can sell failure to extend today's high, and we can buy weakness in anticipation of such. but we have a pretty balanced P. Volume is well above time. That favors a retest of the high. At least one more time. Now, the crude oil, when it trades in the day session, comes off a bit. Then it rallies back. Gold comes off a bit, then it rallies back. And treasuries have had some pretty strong buying, all things considered. So we have ourselves a P. This market is trying to trade higher. So selling failure to take out 14.5, 16.5 is the easiest trade once again to see. And if the E-mini is selling, we sure don't want to be short the financials. The second sell will be 19 to 23. No news to drive tomorrow's trading, so we'll be dependent upon overnight session news. 5 to 9, pretty much where we had it today. After the market opened up, will be buy 1. And buy 2 will be 29 to 01. Okay, looking at the bond, which is strong and staying strong. Again, if the E-mini is selling, we sure don't want to be short the 30-year. And if we had to pick a choice between which we wanted to be short the 30-year or the 10-year, we'd be short the 10-year, not the 30. So a failure to take out 27, this 21 to 27 area. Then 31 to 03. On the buy side, the last rotate down was at 15, then 13, and the H period low at 9. So we'll make it 9 to 13 buy 1. Pretty bold. And then we had the low of the buck. We'll make 1 to 5 buy 2. And if the E-mini starts to sell this afternoon and the selling accelerates, it may take 17s to get into a long on this particular contract. It's been tough to buy at our prices. And let's see what we got in gold. If you look back when we had an agrarian economy and we were trying, everybody could come in the United States as long as they were healthy. We did not restrict immigration. But times have changed right now, and in the 1960s, Ted Kennedy brought in chain migration, and they wanted to change the immigration from Europe to other parts of the world. And they also brought in chain migration, which meant if one person got to the state, then they could get their families, and not just their immediate family, but their parents, brothers and sisters, and so forth. And that has decidedly changed our immigration patterns and policies for the worse. The Democrats did it for votes, plain and simple. The Democrat Party needs people dependent upon government handouts, government programs, and they buy those votes, but is the way that it comes down. And the Republicans are right there with them, but it's a form of light subsidization. Now, if you can remember back in the 50s and 60s, back in those days, at least in East Tennessee, you could buy a vote for a pint of whiskey, and it would be really nice if we could go back to those days. So buying votes has been with us ever since the Civil War in a big way. But right now the cost is getting where, $30,000 to $60,000 to buy off a family to get them to vote for you. And that leads to all sorts of other things that don't really bode well. So the new immigrants that we get coming in the United States are coming into the United States for our welfare subsidization. And that's not good long term under anybody's estimation. So here we are in gold. Definitely a seller above 15, really above 25. And on the buy side, we've had good buying in the 95 to as high as 1305 area. So we're at 1306. Today's low is 02. I don't think things are going to change, so we'll make buy one 1300, 1302. We'll keep it where we had it today. And we'll make 95, 97 for buy two. On the sell side, last rotate up was 10 to 12. If London takes it up there and it starts to sell from there, I can be short. So the first sell area is 10 to 12. I don't like going home short into Globex on gold because of just all the stuff that can happen overseas, and it makes it really, if I couldn't deliver gold in, I would be having a hard time sleeping. I'd be up checking the screens. Because the explosive moves in gold, crude, and the financials or treasuries is to the upside. Okay, crude is telling us that the current oil supplies are secure. We have a P in a downward market. Anybody remember what that signifies? This might be good for you, Nancy. When we see a P in a down market, what does that mean? It means short covering, profit taking by the shorts. So we may have just about ended the selling on this go around. And we have a retest of the start of this new distribution up where we didn't quite get there. So we're going to make 102, 2 1/4, buy one is pretty aggressive. And we'll make buy two God, I can't, 50 to 75. There we go. On the sell side, we'll make it 75 to the buck, give it a little room to the upside, and then 25 to 350 for sell 2, which is where resistance is right now. But you have to really enjoy this game because it's always a little bit different. The factors are a little bit different. You got to think about what you're doing. You have to get stuff into the proper context. And for at least for the male psyche, that works pretty well for keeping us interested in what we do. Brings us in every day. Now, I can't speak for the females, but I would imagine that keeps the game fun for them too. Okay, I do like the short side in the euro. We made new intraday lows, new contract lows for this move. It's definitely a B. The market is being sold. I mean, if you ever wanted to see what happens when you give up your military for social spending for 50 years and you want other people to protect you, look at the vote that came out of the EU today. They agreed to disagree. Poor Holland left hanging, no support for the Dutch from the EU. The EU painted themselves into a box. They're dependent upon 30% of their natural gas from Russia. So can they come out and take a strong stand against Russia? Probably not. Would it behoove them to start looking for alternate sources of energy as fast as they could? Yeah. But I mean, this is so predictable. When you take the easy way out, when you give up all forms of sacrifice to keep what you got going now and make it a little easier, this is where you end up. So you got very, very low growth, overregulated in every aspect of it. I mean, you can't probably go to the bathroom in Europe without a DIN number. And that came from Germany. You no longer can defend yourself. So things are tough on the continent. Okay, right here is 87, so we're going to make 85 to 95, sell 1, give it a little room. May have to engage the market against 80. Yeah, let's make it 80 to 90 for sell 1. And then 35, which was our plus or minus 5 for sell 2. So we'll make it 80 to 90 for the sell. And I don't know what will come out of Kerry's trip to the Middle East. He was not invited by anybody, but he just showed up and landed his airplane. So we'll see what that brings. For my generation, because of what Kerry did after the Vietnam War, while it was still going on, mind you, he's right up there with Jane Fonda for anybody that did time in Vietnam. So he's out there working his magic once again. Hopefully he can find a solution this time. Anyway, you all have a great evening. Don't be surprised to wake up with somebody shooting at somebody else tomorrow from a new spot. And we'll see you bright and early in the morning, 6:45 Central Time.